Thank you for joining me for this 2026 Rune Reading on the United States of America. I'm just going to share with you the runes that came out for this reading. Just a moment. I chose them and photographed them yesterday. So, to look at these runes, I've got to say they are not really very good runes at all. And as we look at them, we have Awaz on the left. And to me, this rune is about working in partnership. It's about when we're looking at a country, it's about the systems working together and working effectively together if it is in its upright position, but it is in reverse. So that would mean that there would be an increasing number of situations more than is present now, where we would say that different parts of the system are working at loggerheads with one another, where there is discord, where there is disagreement, where things are just not functioning well. Sometimes it is about the systems, just the different parts of a system just not functioning well together. That can happen without there being any ill will or disagreement present sometimes. But there is this sense of the practicalities not functioning at all well, as well as disagreement concerning different attitudes, different policies, and so on. And, we all know what that is about. But at the centre, we have Hagalaz, which is about difficulties that have to be worked around. It's like the hailstorm. We can go out, we're wearing good clothing, we're expecting rain, but we get a hailstorm. And we can't do much about that, but we know that we have to walk through the storm and we come out the other side, and the storm isn't that long lasting anyway. And I feel that it's important that when difficult times come up, that we do remember that, that there is a sunshine on the other side of the cloud would be a good way of thinking about it. But there are undoubtedly difficulties in addition to things not working well within the country. There are additional difficulties that have to be dealt with. And as I'm talking about that, I have the feeling of nature-based events within America, whether that is unusually severe storms, an abnormal number of severe storms, or something else that is nature-based, because we can have things like floods or earthquakes, can't we? But I feel there's something else that is nature-based that just has to be responded to. It's like the feeling of the attention that has been pushed out and is looking overseas, having to be pulled back to within America because of difficulties that are being faced. And the ones I'm talking about here are, things that you can't really do much about. If they happen, they happen. And that would apply, as I've already said, I feel nature-based is not insignificant, but I also feel that things that are going awry within America will continue to gather pace, and the difficulties there will tend to ramp up. And also the structure that is there indicated by or uras, is weak in comparison to what is needed. Now, when I'm talking about weakness and strength here, I am not talking about strength as in authoritarianism, which obviously is present, or weakness in terms of the opposite of authoritarianism. I am talking about the capacity of the structure to hold what is actually there, regardless of how the various factors came to be there, regardless of who or what caused them, regardless of whether something could ever have been done about that, or whether it couldn't, as in the case of whatever nature brings. I feel that with this, it's the lack of ability to hold what is present is going to be the issue. And also the fact that people do have their own allegiances, their own wishes, their own desires for the future, and how they see those taking shape or not, I feel is a big part of why there is this weakness there. Because I feel that too many people will want something different, will want to see changes that are not really on the agenda at the present time, at least not in an open way. So I can feel that this is all part of what the runes are indicating is coming into the melting pot in America. And I want to say stirring things up, but keeping things stirred up so that they're not able to come to rest for any significant period of time. But looking at these runes, it does not bode well for the mid-term elections. Of course, there can be changes between now and then, but that is what these runes are showing at the moment, that wouldn't be positive. And then in that kind of situation, we can see that the system isn't working so well together. But I want to say before then, and increasing from what many people are feeling at the moment. So we have to wait and see on that. We have to wait and see what life brings, because the runes always indicate, and we have to wait and see how it turns out. But these are the indications. These are my impressions that it's a very rough ride, to say the least, with more of what we have been seeing in America and a worsening of that before we can start to see some kind of, hopefully in the not too distant future, some kind of settling down. But it does not bode terribly well at the moment, certainly for those that would like to see everything settling as it is and smoothing out. These runes do not indicate that that is very likely to happen, and that there are an increasing number of problems arising, in fact. I hope I am wrong on that, because I do have friends in America, and of course I'm aware that a lot of people live in America, and you know what happens and how they feel matters, and most of us like to see things working well, don't we? And of course, we can always hope that it's going to be a little bit better than those runes seem to indicate. And we have to wait and see on that. But I do think it is important to generate hope, which is one of the reasons why I have hesitated about publishing readings at all in the current situations that we have in many, many parts of the world. But in the end, I felt that I wanted to do so. And I will read the runes again for America and for other places when I feel that there is a benefit to doing so. Thank you for joining me.